Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, last week I was getting hot and bothered about this matter. But now that I know exactly what's going on, I'm just laughing, Mr. Speaker. I've discovered that they are just basic political games. I would use the word cheap, but people will jump out of their seats. Mr. Speaker, last week somebody told me that, you know, when I was elected, I came to this house thinking I'm coming to legislate, to oversight, and to do what? And to represent my people of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. Somebody added another thing here last week, that I have also come here as a student to learn. So I will also take this opportunity to teach what it is that I know, and that is the law, Mr. Speaker. First, I am very happy.
Honorable Senator Nairobi, you remember I reminded you in the morning that you are a senator for my kids. So teach them also how to represent.
Yes, I am hoping, Mr. Speaker, that your children are watching, because I will be saying a few things, and I hope that I can inspire them to be future senators of Nairobi. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I'm very happy that we have come to this juncture. I was imploring you last week that you need to get this matter out of your office so that we can pursue the dispute between us and one of our members in the proper forum. I want to agree with Senator Dulo and the action that she has taken, that in fact the proper forum for resolution of disputes between political parties and their members, or political parties and political parties within a coalition, is a political parties disputes tribunal. We have been vindicated as a minority because we were telling the House last week that in fact the Speaker has no role whatsoever in the dispute amongst the minority party. That in fact what the standing orders require you to do, Mr. Speaker, is upon receipt of this decision that has been made by the minority party, all you need to do is to make a communication to the House so that everybody else is aware. Number two, Mr. Speaker, there is something called jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is everything, as I say in law. Every single court and tribunal in this republic has to derive jurisdiction from a specific provision, either of the Constitution or of an act of Parliament. If the law does not give you jurisdiction, Mr. Speaker, you cannot assume that jurisdiction by yourself. Jurisdiction of the Political Parties Dispute Tribunal under Section 40 of the Political Parties Act is limited to the matters that I have alluded to, disputes among the members of a party and the party, or political party against political party. That jurisdiction, Mr. Speaker, does not extend to a jurisdiction over disputes over this House. The Political Parties Dispute Tribunal has no jurisdiction over the Senate, Mr. Speaker. And if you want to know that the people who went to court in this particular matter, who went to the tribunal, are aware of that fact, the Speaker of the House is actually not a respondent in that matter. They are named as an interested party, Mr. Speaker. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, I, because of my nature as a fortuitous person, have obtained a copy of that court order. And a plain reading of the order has limited the matters before that tribunal to the question of the seat of the whip of the minority side. The question of the seat of the deputy whip is not a matter before the tribunal, and it is not covered by that court order that you read to us, or that you refer to, Mr. Speaker. The question then would be whether we can debate the legality of the order, whether the tribunal can injunct Parliament. The court order has expressed itself to a specific matter. What difficulty did your office have in communicating matters not affected by that court order? So that we in the minority, and knowing how our court system works and how long justice takes in this country, are being told that until these matters are resolved at whatever stage, because it will come from the PPDT, we know she will go to the High Court as is her right. She can even go to the Court of Appeal, and these matters take time. What we are being told is, as the minority side, we will stay without a whip until that matter is resolved. It cannot be true, Mr. Speaker. So in my submissions, Mr. Speaker, I will be asking that you separate matters that are covered by these proceedings and the court order that is before you or served upon you, and if there are matters that are not covered by that dispute, you make the pronouncement on the leadership in the deputy minority whip seat. Mr. Speaker, lastly, I have been told, or we've heard you being told that, in fact, you should be very afraid that if you were to defy a court order that you would come to you or consequences, some undisclosed consequences will befall you. Mr. Speaker, as a lawyer who wasted no time in class, I did not sleep. I can assure you that the office is distinct from you. The office of the Speaker is an office with perpetuity. It does not say on this order that the Senator of Meru, Karuthi Murungi, if you disobey this court order, you're going to jail. There's nothing like that. And I can assure you, because we have a battery of lawyers here, if there is any consequence that will come by virtue of you standing up for the dignity of this House, free legal services will ensue from the minority side, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to make the point further that in fact this House, every single time we argue with our colleagues from the National Assembly on who's the upper house, who's the lower house, but every single opportunity we ourselves get as senators, we impeach our own argument by making ourselves subservient to the National Assembly. If precedent is set in this House, in the Senate, Mr. Speaker, why are we being referred to precedent in the National Assembly? The Senate is not a student of the National Assembly. We don't need to learn anything from them. We are okay as a House. We are equipped with all the knowledge that we need. Our president is the president of the Senate. We don't need to be referred to any other House. Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleagues here who are insisting that, in fact, we should be discussing serious issues. Mr. Speaker, every day I open my newspaper, my heart breaks. Yesterday or the other day, we were being told we have 4,000 doctors in this country who are unemployed. Mr. Speaker, just the other day, we were being told that even these doctors who this government has been unable to find work for are being imprisoned here by the Ministry of Health, saying that they cannot go to seek opportunities outside the country. What sort of relationship are we with with our nation? That in fact the country refuses to provide opportunity for you, then refuses you opportunity to look for jobs elsewhere. Those are the matters that I was elected to discuss here. I want to conclude, Mr. Speaker, by saying we in the minority side have no problem prosecuting this matter before the PPDT. It is something over which we have experts. Senator Osotsi basically wrote the book on how to deal with political parties at the PPDT. We are very well equipped on our side. We have no issues whatsoever. In fact, we have been taken, it's like now trying to drown a fish. You have now put us in water, because in the PPDT, that is where we thrive, Mr. Speaker. You cannot drown a fish in a pond. That is where we live. I am happy that the matter is before the PPDT. But before we conclude that case, Mr. Speaker, please do not allow this House, which in our own constitution has the powers of a high court. We are, in terms of a judiciary, you are at the same level as a high court. How can a magistrate's court issue an order directing the high court on what to do? Mr. Speaker, these are the questions to ponder. For that reason, I want to say, Mr. Speaker, please, let us not destroy this House. Give this House a dignity that has been given by those who came before us. Ensure that we are respected by all organs of government, and please do what the right thing is. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You cannot impose leadership on the minority side. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.